Title: The Time Weaver's Quest. Introduction. In the bustling city of Chronopolis, time was not just a concept but a tangible force, meticulously regulated by the Time Council. Among the city's inhabitants was Marta, a young and talented time weaver. With her auburn hair and piercing green eyes, she was known for her exceptional ability to manipulate the threads of time. However, Marta's life was about to change in ways she could never have imagined. One evening, while working late in the time archives, Marta stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Inside, she found ancient scrolls detailing a forbidden technique to alter the past. As she read through the scrolls, a chilling realization dawned upon her. Someone was planning to use this technique to change history and reshape the future. The call to adventure. Determined to prevent this catastrophe, Marta sought help from the Time Council, but her pleas were dismissed. Frustrated and desperate, she wandered the streets of Chronopolis, where she encountered Cromwell, a rogue time traveler with a mysterious past. Cromwell had heard whispers of the plot and was equally determined to stop it. "You're not the only one who wants to save the timeline," Cromwell said, his eyes reflecting a mix of determination and sorrow. "I have my reasons too." Together, they deciphered the clues left in the scrolls, leading them to their first destination, the Renaissance era. With a deep breath, Marta activated her time-weaving device, and they were transported to a bustling marketplace in Florence. Trials and tribulations. Navigating through the vibrant streets of Renaissance Florence, Marta and Cromwell faced numerous challenges. They had to blend in, avoid suspicion, and gather information about the antagonist's plan. Along the way, they met Leonardo da Vinci, who became an invaluable ally. With his genius and inventions, Leonardo helped them uncover more about the plot and refine their time-weaving skills. As they traveled through different eras, from ancient Egypt to medieval Japan, Marta and Cromwell grew closer, their bond strengthening with each challenge they overcame. They learned to trust each other and harness their unique abilities to navigate the complexities of time. The darkest hour. Their journey took a dark turn when they discovered the identity of the antagonist, a former member of the Time Council named Draven. Draven's plan was to alter key events in history to amass power and control over the timeline. In a fierce confrontation, Draven managed to outmaneuver them, leaving Marta and Cromwell stranded in a desolate future where Chronopolis lay in ruins. Despair threatened to consume them as they faced their darkest hour. Marta doubted her abilities, and Cromwell's past regrets resurfaced. But in their shared struggle, they found the strength to push forward. The betrayal. Just as Marta and Cromwell were about to make a breakthrough, Cromwell revealed his true intentions. He had been working with Draven all along, using Marta to get closer to the secrets of time weaving. Cromwell's betrayal left Marta devastated and alone in a timeline where everything seemed lost. "I never wanted it to come to this," Cromwell said, his voice filled with regret. "But I have my own reasons for wanting to change the past." The climax. Marta stood alone in the heart of the time nexus, a place where all timelines converged. The air crackled with energy as she prepared for the final confrontation. Draven and Cromwell appeared, their expressions a mix of determination and desperation. "You can't stop us, Marta," Draven sneered. "The past will be rewritten, and we will control the future." Marta's eyes narrowed. "Not if I have anything to say about it." With a flick of her wrist, Marta summoned the threads of time, weaving them into a protective barrier around herself. Draven and Cromwell launched their attacks, but Marta's mastery of time weaving allowed her to deflect their blows with ease. The battle raged on, each combatant drawing upon their unique abilities. Marta's movements were fluid and precise, her control over time unmatched. She dodged Draven's temporal blasts and countered Cromwell's strikes with calculated precision. As the fight intensified, Marta realized that she needed to outsmart her opponents, not just overpower them. She focused on Cromwell, knowing that his betrayal had been driven by a deep-seated pain. "Cromwell, you don't have to do this," Marta called out, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "We can find another way to fix the past without destroying the future." Cromwell hesitated, his resolve wavering. Draven seized the opportunity to launch a powerful attack, but Marta intercepted it, redirecting the energy back at him. The blast sent Draven sprawling, giving Marta the chance to reach out to Cromwell. "Trust me, Cromwell," Marta pleaded. "We can make things right together." Cromwell's eyes met Marta's, and for a moment, the weight of his actions seemed to lift. He nodded, stepping back from the fight. Draven, realizing he was now outnumbered, unleashed a final desperate attack. Marta and Cromwell combined their powers, creating a temporal vortex that absorbed Draven's energy. The vortex grew, pulling Draven into its depths and sealing him away in a timeless prison. As the temporal vortex swirled around them, Marta and Cromwell found themselves in a precarious dance with time itself. The threads of time shimmered and twisted, creating a kaleidoscope of past, present, and future moments. Marta's heart pounded as she focused on maintaining control over the vortex, knowing that any misstep could unravel the very fabric of reality. Draven, now trapped within the vortex, fought desperately to break free. His eyes burned with fury as he hurled temporal blasts at Marta and Cromwell, each one more powerful than the last. Marta gritted her teeth, deflecting the attacks with her own time-weaving abilities. "He's too strong," Cromwell shouted over the roar of the vortex. "We need to weaken him somehow." Marta's mind raced as she searched for a solution. She remembered the ancient scrolls she had found in the hidden chamber, the ones that had detailed the forbidden technique to alter the past. There was a passage about a temporal anchor, a point in time that could be used to stabilize the vortex and weaken Draven's power. "We need to find a temporal anchor," Marta called out. "Something that ties Draven to this timeline." Cromwell nodded, his eyes scanning the swirling chaos around them. "There," he shouted, pointing to a flickering image of Draven's past. It was a moment from Draven's childhood, a memory of a time when he had been innocent and uncorrupted by power. Marta focused her energy on the memory, weaving the threads of time around it to create a temporal anchor. The vortex responded, its chaotic energy beginning to stabilize. Draven's attacks grew weaker as the anchor took hold, binding him to the timeline and sapping his strength. "No," Draven screamed, his voice echoing through the vortex. "You can't do this." Marta's resolve hardened as she tightened the weave around the anchor. "It's over, Draven. Your reign of terror ends here." With a final surge of power, Marta and Cromwell channeled their combined energy into the vortex. The temporal threads tightened, pulling Draven deeper into the timeless prison. His screams faded into the void as the vortex sealed shut, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air. Resolution. With Draven defeated, the timeline began to stabilize. Marta and Cromwell returned to Chronopolis, where the Time Council awaited them. The council members, once skeptical of Marta's warnings, now recognized her bravery and skill. "You have saved the timeline and proven yourself a true time weaver," the head of the council declared. "We owe you a debt of gratitude." Marta nodded, her heart swelling with pride. She turned to Cromwell, who stood beside her, a look of relief on his face. "Thank you for trusting me," Marta said softly. Cromwell smiled, the weight of his past mistakes lifting. "I should be thanking you, Marta. You showed me that there's always another way." As they stood on the balcony overlooking the city, Marta reflected on the journey and the lessons learned. She knew that the path ahead would be challenging, but she was no longer alone. With the support of her newfound allies, Marta was prepared to protect the timeline and ensure that history remained unaltered. The sun set over Chronopolis, casting a golden glow over the city. Marta and Cromwell stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future held.